What's up, Panda Cakes? Peter Von Panda here. This is taking a look at a watch I bought. This is an AWI watch, Armenian Watch International. And what's unique about this watch is, one, you've probably never heard of AWI. I've never seen one here in the States. I had to order this one. I believe it might be the only watch company in Armenia, but the interesting thing about the watch that I'm holding here is that it probably looks quite familiar to you as a Frank Muller style Cintree Curvex watch. And the reason is that at some point in recent history, Franck Muller Group bought AWI, and the rumor is, which is probably a little bit glorified for corporate dissemination, is that Mr. Muller was so impressed with AWI's watchmaking prowess that he bestowed upon them the retired Cintree Curvex design so that they could build a number of watches using that design. So this is one of them. What makes this more interesting is this is actually a watch that was built for I believe the Porsche's owners group of Germany, and so it's got the Porsche name right at the top there, kind of laser engraved on the case. And then it's a limited edition. This one is 13 of 50. And these watches are fairly sought after in this limited edition version, but they do certainly make the same type of watch in a non-limited edition, not branded by anything except AWI. The watch also came in two dial colors, I believe, a black and a white like this. And it's a really beautiful watch. Obviously, Frank Muller had wonderful success with their watch. And the interesting thing about it is that it was supposedly built to have perfect curves to fit the wrist. And I'm not sure how they used some math to kind of figure out the right center point, and had all the radiuses not only in this direction curve from that, but also there's a center point, and all the curves meet on I guess at the other axes curve inward. I am probably wasting your time trying to explain that. But the other interesting thing is, if you've seen the manufacturing videos on the Frank Muller version, is that you notice that the dial itself actually has some bends at the edge right along here and here to make that dial fit underneath this very curved case, very curved glass. I know that for the Frank Muller brand, they not only polish the dial and paint it, and then when they silk screen the numbers on, I believe they're even hand painted to give them that three-dimensional look. I have a feeling we're talking about a $15,000-$20,000 watch then, but in this brand, this watch was only, I don't know, $500 or $600 retail. And I think they came with different levels of jewels, some here and some on the edges, and that brought them up to about $1,000. But you're talking about a fraction of the cost of the original Frank Muller, and that really goes to show you that kind of labor for the sake of labor, which can certainly drive up the price of these watches, is often for show, because you can get basically a watch that looks very similar or almost exactly identical. That is literally a tenth or 5% of the price of the kind of more well-known one. Obviously, some things are different. Right on the front, it says AWI, and it says made in Armenia. It obviously has a date wheel, and you can see that it might be a little hard to see here, but as I look really closely at the letters, they look like they are punched out of a material that is either applied to the dial, or actually the whole dial is cast with the numbers in it. So again, you're not having all this manual labor to build each little component on the dial, obviously saving you lots of money. The dial does have some guilloche, which is actually not a super easy thing to do. So a watch at this price point, to have those radiating ridges or pleats is actually very nice. It's really pleasing to the eye. It certainly gives it a much richer look. And the the face is very much pearl white. You know, it kind of makes me think of kind of the modern Escalades with a super pearl white metallic finish. That's very, very similar to what it is here, but very glossy, and the hands look like they have lume on it. The finish on the stainless steel case is very polished, and one of the problems of having a really broad polished sides is that you get those really fine micro scratches as it's worn and touches things. They're pretty easy to polish out. The case seems very durable, but even in the very short amount of time handling this to kind of get enough data to do a review, one of the things that you can end up start seeing is those really fine swirl marks, kind of like when you have a car for a few years, and the paint just starts to show those swirl marks even though it hasn't been abused. Obviously, a nice little quick buff will get rid of all that, but it's one of the risks of having a very large swath of polished metal. AWI on the crown. It's not a screw-in, as you can see. I'm winding it up here, and I got the second hand to move. The movement, I don't have it right in front of me, but it is a Miyota movement of some sort, and probably one of their more simple movements because there isn't a whole lot going on in terms of mechanically on this watch. But it's pretty nice. It's got the Porsche logo engraved on the back of the exhibition window, and the rotor itself has Porsche engraved on it, and it looks like it's golden color. I would normally say gold plated, but I don't actually know if that's the truth here. And it does have well, it's actually a little hard to see, but it looks like it has a date engraved on the rotor, but I wouldn't bet my paycheck on it. So the nice thing is you get a good, reliable, automatic Japanese movement, and that keeps the price point where it's affordable. Alligator crocodile style leather band, and very substantial, nice, pretty stiff, but you can tell this is a pretty decent band, and a stainless steel clasp that is rounded and fits the whole style of the watch. Overall, like I said, I like it. You don't see these very often. It should certainly be a cool watch to keep in your collection. If you're a Porsche owner, it's certainly a high style watch that you can certainly wear and to complement your Porsche. Now, I only have a few Porsches, so I'm not a huge Porsche fanatic, but I certainly like the Porsche brand of things, so that's why I liked picking this one up to add. I should know more about what jewels they put on here. I know in some of the listings I've seen that they call them diamonds, and I know that adds a fairly significant amount to the price, but I don't know if these jewels are precious or not, or merely decorative. They're certainly not, there aren't very many of them, and they certainly are not very large, very, very, very small, and they're blue. So can't tell you much beyond that, but cool watch, anywhere from $400 or $500 on up. I think a lot of money. You get all the style of the Franck Muller in a brand that is blessed and sanctioned by the Franck Muller Group, but you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for it. So definitely check it out, and look for more videos from the Panda, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and a thumbs up if you didn't like it. That doesn't leave you a whole lot of options. Panda out.